Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new live episode of the Hot Mic here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I am the Outlaw John Rocha here, joined as always by the Sneider himself, Jeff Sneider. How are you, Sneider?
Hello, Johnny boy! Good to see you on this fine Thursday.
You too, my friend. You got the, what's going on? You got the Hunter, all you're missing is the sunglasses for the Hunter S. Thompson look and a Panama hat. You'd be set to go. I like this look. Why are you wearing a Sinners? The audacity to wear a Sinners t-shirt. What are you doing? Oh my God.
I was a fan of the film, John. What do you mean?
I love it.
No one knows how to troll the audience better than me.
That's true. 100% the truth. And I'm telling you, I did not know he was wearing that shirt before we started the show. That is 100% authentic reaction from me. So hilarious stuff, my friend. Give yourself a long hair and you look a little bit long hair and you look like Tom Cruise talking about the movie. But we got so much to get into today, brother man. So much happening in the world of news, covering some of your scoops, covering some of the other stuff that's broken during the week here. So just a reminder before we dive in, because we got a lot. We're going to dive in here in just a second. Streamlabs Super Chats are open. You want to support the show. You want to keep this show going. You want to show love to the show. Sending in Streamlabs Super Chats are how you do it. The Streamlabs is right above Jeff's head, and you all know how to send Super Chats. We already have 6 of them. I'm hoping we get to a lot of them today because there's a lot we got to get into. So, Jeff, let's not waste any time. Let's jump into it. Let's go right into the world of DC, man. This is the big news that broke just yesterday, and that is the situation here with Sergeant Rock at DC, Luca Guadagnino. It looks like it is a done deal. It is over. It is canceled. Yes, there were some qualifying follow-up reports saying that maybe it's just delayed to September or to summer of 2026. But it looks pretty clear that this is canceled. You wrote about it in your newsletter. What are your thoughts when you heard this news? And let people know who maybe don't subscribe. What are your thoughts about all of this? And what do you think happened here? That all of a sudden, as they were location shooting or scouting, it was shut down.
Well, naturally, I posted this early in the morning.
Yes.
And then somebody reached out as soon as I hit publish, basically. That's how things go for me. And at the end of the day, folks, it came down to budget.
Really?
As Johnny, what is the lesson of this show, right? As with all things in Hollywood, it comes down to
money. Yes.
Money.
Yeah.
That is the lesson.
Wow.
I think that the budget had, quietly crept down from 70 million to 65 million. I think that you said, it was greenlit at 70. Then you saw some reports that said 65. I think that was exactly it. They were squeezing this guy.
Okay.
Right? And they weren't going to let him make the movie that he wanted to make.
Oh, wow.
This whole weather excuse,
yeah.
Again, Sinners, they just said that they went in 4 months from first draft to production. This movie's been in the works for, the better part of a year, maybe 6 months already.
Sure. Yeah.
And you're telling me May, June, July is enough time to prep for an August start?
Yeah.
Again, the line in Deadline story about equipment said it all to me. I'm like, you have got to be fucking grasping at straws for it to be like, well, it's not ideal conditions for the equipment.
I know. Yeah, when the story broke yesterday, I was on the Christian Harloff show, and the story broke, and we talked about it. And my DC spider sense, and I know Spidey is a Marvel, but my DC Spidey sense started tingling here because it felt like, how do you not have all this lined up already with one of the most premier directors working in the business today? And then all of a sudden shut it down over all these myriad of excuses. None of this came up while you were getting ready to do the shoot. None of this came up while you were setting things in motion. And how are you doing all of this without making it very clear that you're committed to the project? So do you think they got, beyond the budget, do you think they got cold feet of working with this guy because of the budget, but also because maybe they felt this guy wasn't the right, you talk about things. Sometimes you go like, oh, this would be great. This would be great. This would be great. And then the day comes when you're going to go hang out with that person, or you're going to hang out with those people, and you realize, you know what? I'm not really that excited to do this after all. It was nice to consider it. But now that it's actually going to happen, I'm not 100% wanting to do this. Do you think DC got cold feet, and is that why maybe they were messing around with the budget? Is they just didn't believe in Guadagnino being able to bring this thing to port?
I think that's definitely what happened. And for everyone, talking about sinners, right?
Yes.
I'm about to bring it up right now. I was like looking at the latest story, right? I think it was about the re-release, right?
Yeah, on IMAX.
And it said this movie's grossed $160 million worldwide.
Right.
That's a money loser.
Right now.
I don't know what to tell you guys. Right? I know how to do math.
Yeah.
If it's made 160 million worldwide, that means that they're only getting 80 million.
Right.
And they're copping to having spent 90 on production alone before marketing. So, for everybody doing fucking cartwheels, in the chat here, there's no denying it's doing very well. And I can't believe the business that it's done on IMAX and in premium, large format screens, which is why they're bringing it back. It's also I don't know that this is the model, right?
Right.
This is a genuine cultural phenomenon that is still shaping up to be a money loser. And so I think that's where they look at Sergeant Rock and they're like, well, shit, if we don't hit that cultural bullseye or whatever, I don't really see how this recoups money either.
It was such a weird idea from the beginning, wasn't it? A Luca Guadagnino Sergeant Rock film starring Daniel Craig under the James Gunn auspices. We have to go back to James Gunn and ask these questions, and we'll do it again in another part of this story too, is what is happening here? Because, we should just add it now, because you also followed up with the CLAYFACE situation, and you have it that Mike Flanagan is being moved off as the writer. Oh, sorry. There we go. Mike Flanagan is being moved off here as the writer, and that the entire script is going to get an overhaul, a page 1 rewrite, because he has now shifted to his Carrie series for Prime Video. So not only do you have a Sergeant Rock film that is not going to happen, now you've got a page 1 rewrite possibly for CLAYFACE. Does this scream stable leadership and, really a smooth sailing ship? This to me is evidence of a lot of drama going on behind the scenes. And as you speculated in a newsletter, and other people have speculated, we've done it on the show, that now DC and Warner Brothers is just waiting for Superman to see what happens. Is that why all of this shit is being put on the shelf right now?
Yes. I mean, I think that's very clear, right? You don't make this movie unless you have a universe that's already thriving. Yeah. I mean, I understand you need to have some movie to come after Superman, which is Supergirl, and also it's going to have some sort of built-in audience or whatever. But Sergeant Rock is brand new. You don't start doing a movie like this until you're off and running and it's 7 or 8 movies deep and you need a change of pace movie.
You're right.
It just it never made sense to me. Not to mention both Luca Guadagnino and Warner Brothers, they didn't sign up to make this movie. They thought they were making it with Daniel Craig. That's what got greenlit.
Right.
And then Daniel Craig was the one who backed out or whatever. So I just don't think that this was really what anybody had in mind, especially for the money.
Right.
Colin Farrell's a great actor. He could win an Emmy this year for The Penguin.
Sure.
He's not a butts and seats movie star.
No, right. He's not coming off a James Bond franchise, right?
Yes, or an out franchise,
right.
So it's just the math wasn't mathing, and I think that is ultimately what it came down to. But again, I'm sure it had something to do with Luca not wanting to compromise either.
Yeah,
and being inexperienced, not making a movie of this size and scope. I'm just scheduling for who? The outdoors? This is the craziest fucking explanation I've ever heard.
Well, that's what I'm saying. How does that not come up in the whole build up to doing the film? How does not? I mean, are you not looking ahead, or are you just going okay, let's make it happen? And I'm not going to think about the days that are coming or the weeks, or I'm not going to plan ahead. It's literally a studio's job to plan ahead for years ahead of time to figure out production schedules, figure out releases, and what have you. So yes, scheduling sounds ridiculous. So how much stock do you put in these follow-up reports that people are trying to claim? Because Humberto Gonzalez and Drew Taylor on The Wrap worked on this story. They say canceled straight up. But other follow-up stories at THR and other places were well, they're just delaying it to next summer. Is that all just a smoke screen to give them something to how can I say this? Something to play with, because if Superman hits, they can go, we were always just delaying it, right?
I do think it provides cover. It lets them off the hook without saying, this isn't moving forward. It's, we'd love to make this, just not right now. We got to see how Superman does and then make decisions from there. I think that's what they're effectively saying. Right. And I think that you're hearing that the buzz for Superman, I think, even if it's good, right? Yeah. I think there's a certain skepticism that you're already seeing and feeling. The marketing campaign, I know, hasn't kicked into overdrive. It's going to do that in a few weeks. Right. Like, I don't know that Warner Brothers is expecting it to do $1 billion.
Right. Yeah, there's been the mixed, you hear the behind the scenes mixed reactions to it. Plus, dude, there are so many campaigns. And the most recent one, the hashtag, what is it, Superman shit or something like that, where they're talking about the monkeys who are, somewhere in Lex Luthor's laboratory or in some hole in some multiverse or something, writing up negative stories about Superman. Like, this is the stuff that out of context feels like, what the F? And then maybe when you see the movie, it makes sense or whatever. But there's already multiple campaigns that are going forward that are trying to undercut the success of this movie before it even comes out. I'm not validating. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying this is the reality. So if the film comes out and it's not overwhelmingly 100% great, loved by 95% of the people, then I think this is going to be an issue for DC, Warner Brothers, Gunn, and Zaslav, man.
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
Again, that's why everything seems to be on hold, and why, there were reports that like Gunn feels like he. Sorry, 1 second. I'm trying to think of how to put this. I think that there's some frustration with HBO.
Oh, okay.
I think that like Booster Gold and Waller and all these shows that were supposed to like be part of this universe and stuff.
Yeah.
They're not really happening. I think it's a wait and see on how Lanterns does. Just like with film, they're waiting to see how Superman does. Right. I think that Gunn honestly had to go over HBO's head and force Lanterns through. I think he went straight to Zaslav, by the way.
Oh, really?
I think that HBO was a little reluctant. I mean, it's not that it's not their brand. Like Casey Bloys was on The Town, Bellany's podcast, and he talked about they've had shows, IP-driven shows before.
Yeah,
but they're obviously leaning in a certain direction. Anyways, there's a lot that's still going on behind the scenes, and I think it's smart to wait to see how Superman performs.
Do you also think, you mentioned this in your write-up of this, do you also think that maybe Guadagnino was also like, which we haven't touched on, was like, I'm not taking notes from James Gunn about my movie. Who is James Gunn to tell me about my movie?
I think it's a very different situation when you're hiring James Watkins to do CLAYFACE, and when you're hiring Luca Guadagnino.
Yeah,
who like people have pointed out, has a bunch of other projects going on, including the Lionsgate American Psycho one. Although I don't think that would be next. I think he'd probably just be like, you know what, I need a break from all this studio pressures and all this stuff. I'm gonna go make another fucking little movie, something small, and then circle back to American Psycho after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot going on. I know. One of the Twitter scoopers said that there is no other new writer or whatever on CLAYFACE, and that it's just James Watkins doing a director's pass. I mean that may be the case, but I don't think it's more. I don't think it's just a director's pass. I think that the script needed work from top to bottom. So I am told it is a page one rewrite. It could very well be Watkins. I maybe assumed it was just going to be they were bringing on like a script doctor. It could just be Watkins as well. What else did I hear? There's
okay.
What?
Well, there's the other part of this, like the Authority, Swamp Thing, Teen Titans, Brave and the Bold. I mean, I almost harken back to the glory days of worrying about just if the Batman Part 2 is going to be Robert Pattinson or if he's going to be in Brave and the Bold. Now we've got all this other extra stuff going on behind the scenes, and it just feels like we're back in this mix. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're hating on James Gunn. We're not hating on James Gunn, or I'm not hating on James Gunn. I'm bringing up stuff that is legitimately happening.
Yes.
And I'm putting it in a contextual place to offer an analysis. I'm not sitting here twiddling my underoos, my Superman underoos, hoping everything works out. That's not what the Hot Mic is, okay? This is not a Glory Hound podcast or show. This is a show that talks about what the hell is going on, makes some analysis, offers some opinions, and that's what we're doing. I love James Gunn's movies. It doesn't mean that he's doing a great job right now behind the scenes with DC, and it doesn't mean that it doesn't feel like it's a mess.
And exactly, and I do think that if he wasn't busy making Superman, right, and maybe Safran was empowered to make more decisions, or I feel like everything's just predicated on Gunn. I think you'd see other HBO shows. I think you'd see Sergeant Rock being able to make its date if that was really, what the issue was. These are all like producer things. Like, can you have this movie ready in time for when you said it was going to be ready? And I'm sure it's not, because Gunn is distracted. He's pulled in a zillion different directions, and that's what happens when you put a director in charge of a studio. I think it was a weird. As much as I'm rooting for James Gunn, right? And I want this movie to be good, and I want him to succeed. And I think he could be really interesting. I don't know that everything was considered. When Zaslav hired him, and I don't think that other directors want to take notes from him.
Well, I also think this is something that, when you look at it when you pull back all the way out of this situation, right? There have been a lot of rumors about issues between Gunn and Feige, and that Feige taking too much credit for what Gunn did for his Guardians of the Galaxy stuff and wanting to keep it separate. Even Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was very separate from the overall MCU storylines. Like, it seems very clear to me that Gunn was the guy who is sitting on the sideline, who works for the boss and is going, I could do better than him. I can be better than the boss. I know how to do this thing. He doesn't know what he's making these mistakes here, left and right. And then all of a sudden you are the boss at another company, and you are you're absolutely seeing all the stuff you didn't see as an employee of the boss. And as an employee of the company, you didn't see what it's like to be up top and see all this other stuff. Shareholders, David Zaslav, fans, creators, creatives, all this stuff is happening. And now it's a whole other ball game, man. So an AD becoming a director is like a light year jump. It is a whole nother ball game. And it feels to me like maybe Gunn is looking at all of this and is, as you said, being pulled in so many directions. So things are starting to get shuttered or suffer from it, because he's not used to doing this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What's up? You're getting a text about something?
I'm always getting texts. The texts are just nonstop. It's just
okay.
I'm in the Matrix.
Are you hearing anything more about DC? Anything else that might be coming, or might be getting shuttered, or might be, having a revisions of it? Anything else you're hearing on DC?
I mean, I think that just like the MCU did, right? It didn't rush Thor or Captain America. It made a sequel to its hit. And I think that's what will be, we'll wait until July to see if it's a hit.
Right.
And then they'll announce that James Gunn's next movie will either be Superman 2 or a Superman, Batman kind of thing, probably a World's Finest movie. Right. I do think that is the script that he is, working on. And then that will dictate, right? What happens with Batman 2.
Yeah. And this is the frustrating thing you have to deal with sometimes when you do this show. Xenohour has been watching my stuff and our show for a long time, but yet says something dumb like this. I don't hate James Gunn, in quotes, immediately creates a conspiracy theory. I didn't create a conspiracy theory because I don't work that way. I think of all of this stuff, put it into a grinder, and come out with analysis. There's a difference. I didn't say this is happening. I said it's possible that this is a result of the whole situation and why he might be a little bit overwhelmed. It's a speculation and an analysis. For people who say it's a conspiracy theory, you're children and you're not mental giants. And there's a difference here. You've got to understand there's a difference. Analysis is not. Analysis is, this is a probable situation. Conspiracy theory is, this is what's really happening. And that's not what I said. So I just want to clarify that.
I think that if Superman's a giant hit, right, and James Gunn can then do whatever he wants, then he has the clout to say, all right, I want to do an authority movie for $200 million. It's already
100%.
Okay? But if it's not, and the authority is so key to his universe.
Right.
I think that they'll be folded into whatever script he's writing.
Yeah, good point.
You know?
Yeah, I feel like he needs to knock them both out. Even though he's not directing Supergirl, he's very much like over it. So I think both Superman and Supergirl need to be hits. Maybe not Supergirl at the level of Superman, but certainly those need to come out really well because those feel very much personal to James Gunn. Even though he's not directing Supergirl, it's very clear that these are the two that he's putting down as foundational tentpoles to his overall universe. And so those both need to hit, I think, for him to be able to do what he really wants to do and have the cachet to do it.
I mean, you know, box office is such a different conversation than like just the culture, like hitting the cultural bullseye.
Yes.
I see everyone in the comment section. It's making my blood boil.
Yeah.
Like Sinners is going to hit 300 million worldwide or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. That's still a kind of a money loser, okay? Because if you're spending 90 million, which is what they're admitting to, it may be closer to 100, 110.
Yeah.
You're spending that much, then you're spending half as much on marketing, so 50 to 55 million. Then the movie costs 160, 165. So if you're making 300 and you're getting half of it, that's 150. It's still a money loser. This is what I'm talking about. People are like, oh, like, fuck you, in your face. Oh my God, it's going to get to 300 million. Great. It needed to get to like 350, you know, like
425.
And it's ultimately going to make money because of ancillary, right? Because of Blu-ray and PVOD and airlines and hotels and all that shit. But in the general box office conversation, you never hear people bring that up. You never hear people bring up ancillary revenues.
Right.
So when we have to do that to justify Sinners as a huge win, which 100%. It is culturally, but I'm talking about financially. It's what people don't seem to understand.
Right. You only bring up ancillary shit on like what do you call it? On guilty pleasure movies. On guilty pleasure movies or movies that you did decently at the box office, but when you factor in all this stuff, it turned a little bit more of a profit than you anticipated. When you're defaulting down to these lower levels of profitability, it means you're not winning at the top level of the profitability.
Which is me fucking insane. I don't want Sinners to fail, Fredtastic 314.
Yeah.
I'm trying to explain to you that it is failing.
I think it might be time to start blocking some of these guys. I don't know. I'm trying not to, but yeah.
I see it on my Twitter, and I get to block them on Twitter because I can't stand incompetence. I can't stand dumb people.
I know. It's frustrating.
And it's fine if you want to disagree with me. But to just suggest, like, you know, I mean, we're talking about, well, it's going to do great on Max. Like, okay, and I'm sure, and that has a dollar value attached to it. I understand that.
Right.
At the end of the day, this is a good investment for Warner Brothers. That's what I wrote in the column, people.
Right.
But don't try and sit here and argue the numbers when the numbers don't lie. That's the beautiful thing about numbers.
Right. Like
people are delusional.
Like this comment on Cloud, like 300 is a great number for an R-rated movie, no matter how you slice it. Actually, it's not true.
But it's not for a $90 million movie. When people are like, oh, it has a 6% hold. Well, what if the budget was $1 billion? Who cares what the hold is?
Right. Yeah, if I spent $300 million on the movie, making $300 million is not cool, no matter how I slice it.
I haven't said a peep about Coogler's deal because that was a good deal.
Okay? I get it.
It's the budget that they made it for that was the problem.
Yeah.
Do you understand? That's why they pulled the plug on Sergeant Rock, I bet.
I agree. All right. Anyway, we'll see what happens with the whole situation with DC. We'll see what happens with all these kinds of things. And as Jeff said, we're cool with difference of opinions. That's fine. When you're casting aspersions and claiming that we're saying something we're not saying, that's where it gets frustrating. So I hear Jeff's point on this overall.
Why are these movies so expensive?
Yeah,
that's Colin Farrell. These guys are not $20 million guys.
Right.
You didn't pay them $20 million. So where's what is, like, I don't understand. What happened to Hollywood that everything is so fucking expensive?
Yeah. Tariffs. No, I'm joking. I don't know what it is.
I'm grabbing a Diet Coke.
All right, go grab a Diet Coke and calm down. Let's move on to this other story here, Jeff. And Jeff can hear me while he's in the other room there. But Avengers Doomsday has begun shooting in the UK, according to numerous outlets here. And they've also reported that Newton Thomas Siegel will serve as Avengers Doomsday cinematographer. He has done stuff for Bryan Singer, like The Usual Suspects, all of Singer's X-Men movies, Superman Returns. He also did the cinematography for Drive, which is one of my favorite films ever, and Spike Lee's The Five Bloods. He did work with the Russos on Cherry and Extraction. Avengers Secret Wars will begin shortly after Doomsday wraps. Trent Opalock was the cinematographer for Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame, but he is not coming back to be the cinematographer. That's certainly interesting when you look at it. Also, they're putting a clamp down on all these rumors because they're shooting on sound stages. So all this AI stuff you've seen on social media of supposedly RDJ as Doom, it's all fake. It's all fake. So don't believe any of it. The other part of this, Jeff, is that, you know, you've been reporting on this on the show here about the fact that the script is not done, and Daniel RPK reported on it as well, reaffirming what you felt. I just retweeted what Daniel said and tagged you on it because you're the one that broke it on the hot mic here. But it's pretty clear that the script is not done still, and they're still trying to sign people and make this all happen. So, what do you think of the updates on Avengers Doomsday, and what else do you hear is happening behind the scenes on this?
Someone sent me a full cast list today.
Oh, with everyone they're intending to have in the film?
Apparently.
Wow.
It's true. I don't know if it's true. You want to ask some names and I'll tell you if it's on the list?
I think the chat should ask some names. I think that's a great way to do this. All right.
Again, I have no idea if this is true. I'm looking at like 1,000 fucking names. So like
you should be looking at 1,000. All right, here we go. Tom Holland. Is Tom Holland coming back? He's going to be in Doomsday. No. Let's see. Who else have they got here? All right, Kevin. Halle Berry. Is Halle Berry coming back?
No.
Elizabeth Olsen.
No.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
Oh, Oscar Isaac. Moon Knight.
No.
Ryan Reynolds.
No.
Hugh Jackman. No. Wow. Interesting. All right.
This is just, the glimpse that I'm seeing. Yeah. And again, these people could turn up in Secret Wars.
Of course.
Scenes from Secret Wars could turn up in Doomsday. I mean,
right.
Fucking souffle they're making over there.
But what else? Do you hear anything else on what's going on? Because, I mean, Chris Claremont was at the Huntsville Pop Culture Expo. For those
wait. What's wrong?
What's that?
Halle Berry is on this list.
Halle Berry is on this list. Ooh, what about this guy who's been in the news this week, Mr. Terrence Howard? Any chance he's coming back?
It was a long list, guys.
Rhodes?
No, Terrence Howard is not on the list that I have. Halle Berry is on the list.
Someone wants to know if they're going to bring back a CGI Bill Bixby as the other Incredible Hulk. Is that a possibility?
No, but you know who's interesting? Who's on here?
Who? Tell me.
Which makes me question the whole thing. But
okay.
I mean, I buy it. Because I think he's definitely back. Jeremy Renner.
Which he revealed earlier today, that he turned down coming back to Hawkeye season 2 because Marvel offered him half of what he made in season 1.
Right.
What?
And so, I see that. And those are the kind of quotes where you're like, oh, I guess these guys aren't working together anymore. But
yeah,
I don't know. Just thinking about it even like more, it's like, well, why not? Like,
yeah.
Okay, so he turned down Hawkeye season 2. There's not going to be a Hawkeye. I mean, that's a great excuse, by the way, to not make Hawkeye season 2 if they just throw him a lowball offer and they're like, let's see if he takes this. And he's like, fuck no, I'm not taking it. They're like, okay, I guess we're not making the show that we didn't want to make, really, anyways.
Sorry, Haley.
Like that, it gives them cover, kind of. But
totally.
Like I've always said, I just don't see them proceeding on this finale without Renner after he nearly died. Like, they're not gonna put him on the sideline. So he was on the list. There's like 40 fucking names here, guys, but we need to see the dollar signs.
Yeah, I agree. Well, as I was saying, Chris Claremont, who is one of the most famous X-Men writers and comic book guys, some of these really well respected in the world of comic books, he was at the Huntsville Pop Culture Expo and he started talking about Secret Wars, and he revealed a few things about Secret Wars. Do we believe it's true? Robert Downey Jr. will apparently be playing multiple characters in the movie, including his Iron Man. Chris Evans will supposed to be back to play Captain America, a young Steve Rogers, and Hydra Captain America. Elizabeth Olsen will return as a good Scarlet Witch. He also claimed that Psylocke is returning somewhere. What's her face is married to John Mulaney. Olivia Munn is just perked up and suggested that Wolverine will kill somebody important. And that's what he's talking about. Secret Wars, not Doomsday. So Jeff has the list for Doomsday. Hugh Jackman not in Doomsday according to Jeff's list, but possibly will be in Secret Wars to kill someone really important. So do any of these pass your smell test?
If Downey and Chris Evans are playing multiple characters,
yeah,
I still think that Doom and Steve Rogers will be the dominant. Like, they're the only ones who will have like a significant amount of screen time. You may see like
variants.
Yeah, exactly. You may who fucking knows what else we'll see, but those will be the guys who I think you would see in multiple roles.
Right. Oh, man, that's a lot. Okay. What about the X-Men? Is anyone on the list from the Fox X? Oh, wait. Is Sadie Sink on the list here as a possible? Would she appear in this Doomsday? Is Sadie Sink on the list?
No.
Okay.
No.
Is Brie Larson on the list?
No.
Haley Atwell?
Yes.
Whoa. All right. I like this situation. Famke Janssen. Will she come back as Jean Grey? Is she on the list? Tom Hardy.
I was right. I didn't scroll up far enough. Brie Larson is on the list.
Brie Larson is on the list. Okay. Tom Hardy.
I'm sorry, guys. There's so many people. I'm like, you can't blame me for. Wait, Famke Janssen's on it too.
Oh, all right.
I don't know if this is legit or not.
It feels like it might not be.
It's everybody.
But is this from a source that you trust, or is this just from a fun source who sent it to you?
Somewhere in between.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
Let's see.
Brie Larson. Okay, I mean, what am I supposed to read this whole list?
I don't know. Maybe. I think this would be a good clip out if you read the whole list.
Fuck it. Okay.
Okay, here we go. Read the whole list. Let's clip this. I'm gonna put you. Yeah, go ahead.
Supposedly.
I'm gonna put you in.
Supposedly, the rest of the Doomsday cast is Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner, Hulk, Benedict Wong, Brie Larson, Haley, Don Cheadle, Karen Gillan, Jeremy Renner, Iman Vellani, Denai Guerrera, Tessa Thompson,
Okay.
Ki-Hui Kwan,
Okay.
Tiona Paris, Will Poulter, Dominique Thorne, Sochi Gomez, Sophia De Martino, Tatiana Maslany, Yahya Abdul Mateen as Wonder Man.
Okay.
Catherine Newton, Wunmi Masaku, Lashana Lynch, Famke Janssen, Halle Berry, Kai Zen.
Okay.
Isla. I don't even think I know who that is.
Okay.
Owen Wilson, Chris Pratt, Sam Jackson, Charlize Theron, Benedict Cumberbatch, Haley Atwell, Chris Evans, and I think Bradley Cooper, Vin Diesel, Maria Bakalova.
Wow.
So it was no Tom Holland, no Evangeline Lilly, no Paul Bettany, no Elizabeth Olsen, no Oscar Isaac, no May Kalamaui, no Charlie Cox or John Bernthal, and no Sean Gunn.
Ooh. Oh, no Sean Gunn. No surprise there.
I mean,
wow.
And I don't know who's, I mean, death means nothing, I suppose, in this franchise. But this was the email I received. Take it with a grain of salt.
Take it or leave it. That's a good cast, though. That's a strong cast. And guys, remember, Doomsday is the precursor to Secret Wars. So you're not going to get everybody in Doomsday and then everybody in Secret Wars. So you want to tell a certain story in a certain direction, a certain way, rather. So you want to present a bunch of characters in Doomsday, but then it's going to lead to a bigger story in Secret Wars where everybody appears. So, yeah, interesting stuff.
Paul Rudd's not on this list.
Right. Jonathan Majors is not on that list.
Hemsworth isn't on this list. Oh, he was already on. Sorry, he was already in the video.
He was only at 37.
Paul Rudd was in the video too. I can't remember all the 20 because I don't have the original list of the 22 names. Yeah, I don't know. Seems like fucking everybody's gonna be in it, right?
Yes.
For like Wolverine and Spider-Man, like the big guns,
Right.
will probably come in for Secret Wars, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because what were the names here? Right. You had Hemsworth, Mackey, you had all of the Fantastic Forecast, Paul Rudd, all of the Thunderbolts are going to be in it. Namor is going to be in it. Shang-Chi's going to be in it. Shuri's going to be in this thing as well. You got
with ScarJo though.
Kelsey Grammer. She was not on the original.
Right. So like they're holding the triple A listers.
Yeah.
ScarJo, Wolverine, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Seems like what's going on here.
Right. Yeah. It's a good list. Oh yeah, no it's an interesting list. I like it. All right. And we'll see how much of it is true. We'll see how much of it is true.
On the newsletter, and I'm like, this is probably more podcast fodder.
Right. All right. So there we go. Anything more you're hearing about it? Shall we move on?
I think you'll see another writer on X-Men.
Oh wow. Announced soon?
No, it could be months, but
okay.
I don't know if the guy that they hired is, going to be the final writer.
Right. I want to bring this up. Jeff Hemsworth is getting in shape for the film. Look at this man. He puts to shame just about every man on the planet. Look at this guy. He's got the short hair. He's currently shooting, so that's the short hair. Is he going to be in the wig or is he going to be in the Thor Ragnarok short hair? I like it though. Good God Almighty. I mean, good God Almighty, this guy. He's ready to go.
What is in that bag, or who is in that bag?
I don't know. Maybe Fat Thor? Fat Thor's in that bag.
I saw a hand in that bag come out.
Bring out the gimp. Hey, there it is. All right, let's move on to this story here, Jeff. We're at 37 minutes into the show. Remember, Streamlabs super chats are super important. Send them in as support for the channel, for the show here, and for the channel, please. Also, Jeff's newsletter. Jeff, where can they subscribe to this newsletter to find more tidbits and information about the world of entertainment?
Sneider.com. We broke Jackie O last week. I lost followers after this story. I think it's because people don't like me on Twitter, but how do you lose followers after breaking Jackie O?
Jackie O. Good stuff. All right, let's move on to the story here, man. Joseph Kosinski is attached to direct a Miami Vice movie for Universal Pictures with Nightcrawler filmmaker Dan Gilroy penning the script from an earlier draft by Top Gun Maverick scribe Eric Warren Singer, who had to move on to commitments on Amazon MGM Studios' Best of Enemies with Christian Bale and Bradley Cooper. This is a hell of a combo, dude. Kosinski and Dan Gilroy. We had the Jamie Foxx, Colin Farrell, Michael Mann one, which was good, not great. Certainly a lot of good scenes in it, but I think it suffered a little bit from everybody putting their chest out and dick measuring throughout the whole movie. So what do you think of this combination? And you put in your newsletter some Miami Vice suggestions for casting. What are your thoughts here?
I mean, yes, my suggestions were a little all over the place, but
yeah,
they were good suggestions.
They were. I liked them. They were fun read.
I mean, everyone kind of went to the lazy. We gotta get Michael B. Jordan. It's a black role. We gotta have Michael B. Jordan in here because of Sinners. I mean, and we got Glenn Powell. We got to put him in everything and just reboot after reboot after reboot. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they get that level of star. I mean, Kosinski's was just work with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. Like, is it gonna be one of those guys? Is Sonny Crockett going to be fucking Leo DiCaprio?
Oh,
hey. I don't know, or if it's going to be like that next generation of star, an Aaron Taylor Johnson, Paul Mescal. Is it going to be Ryan, one of the Chris's or Ryan Gosling? It could be so many fucking people.
Yeah,
I had more fun thinking of names for Tubbs, to be honest.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, because Crockett, you can throw in a lot. Tubbs is a little more tougher.
Throw in any white guy and put him in a pastel shirt.
Just about. Yeah, that's from a certain age. Yeah,
I'm kind of with you on that. It's just like, just throw any fucking generic white guy in there. But the thing is, they have to be fuckable.
Well, sure. Don Johnson was. People forget, but Don Johnson was fuckable. And for those of you who find Dakota Johnson attractive, the genes come from Don Johnson and his wife, who was a a model, a beautiful model. So, these are the situations you're dealing with. Yeah.
When I grew up, it was Oprah's fat jokes, and Don Johnson was like the hot guy. It wasn't Tom Cruise,
100%.
Kevin Costner. It was fucking Don Johnson.
100%.
So with all due respect, it's not gonna be Tom Holland.
No.
Zendaya is the only one who wants to fuck Tom Holland.
No, I didn't say that. You're saying
I'm saying. I said the newsletter. And hey, I'm a Tom Holland fan, but he ain't fucking Sonny Crockett.
Right.
So it needs to be someone who women want to fuck. Tubbs, you get a little bit more nuance.
Right.
Is Tubbs going to be even flashier, or is he more reserved? Like, I kind of would love Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah.
Who I think is a great actor. We don't see enough of him, but he would play it a certain way, a much different way than John David Washington would play it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
agreed. I don't think John David Washington is even in my mix in my head. Like, I just don't even see it that way. And I don't think Michael B, because then you'd have to make Tubbs like the lead. He would not take secondary to Crockett. And the way it works is that Crockett and Tubbs, it's always Crockett who's the lead. It's Tubbs who's just the slightly below lead, the 1B, shall we say. Even in the Miami Vice remake, as much as Jamie Foxx was posturing all over the screen, one of his worst performances ever, it still was focused on Colin Farrell's story with, I forget the Asian actress's name, but they were the main story because she was the person connected to the main drug dealer that they were trying to take down. So that's how it's got to work. So you've got to find a black actor who's okay playing the slightly below co-lead in the film. Let
me ask you, it's definitely two guys, right? They don't gender flip Tubbs, do they?
Not in post-Trump America, they don't. They're absolutely going to.
If Zendaya came to you and was like, I'll play Tubbs, would you be like, I got to think about this?
I'd have to do a female version like they did with Bad Boys, Bad Girls with Gabrielle Union and Jessica Alba. I would have to do a reverse of that. It'd have to be two girls.
I mean, I don't know if it'd be like Sonny Crockett's son and Tubbs' daughter.
Oh, God.
It's not really Crockett and Tubbs, And the other thing is, does he have to be black?
Well,
could he be a Spanish-speaking person?
Yeah, I mean, it's Miami, right? So
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, could Sonny Crockett be a Spanish-speaking individual?
Sonny Crocketta. All right, I like it. I like the idea. Put a little vowel on the.
I'm saying one of the pairings I suggested was Pedro Pascal and Anthony Ramos.
Oh, that could be two Latino guys. Pedro. I don't think Pedro can do Crockett. I think Pedro could do Tubbs. So that would be the issue there. Okay. I don't see him as a Crockett necessarily. Someone said The Rock and Kevin Hart. Yeah, that'd be.
I mean, I'll tell you, John Ashford, who I didn't even think of this guy.
John Ashford.
In the chat, John Ashford suggested. I didn't even think of him, and he's kind of perfect. Zac Efron.
Oh.
Sonny Crockett would be actually pretty good.
Be a hell of a challenge. Because, I mean, I don't think they're going to write it with comedy in mind.
I don't think it's comedy. I mean, Iron Claw.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But after he did Iron Claw, you show he can do drama. I agree. I mean,
there's a lot of ways that they could go with this role. It's all about what's the money and like, is Kosinski and like is working with him a draw for these guys. If he can, like, I'm going to reinvent the plane movie and reinvent the race car movie potentially in June.
Yeah. I mean, Aaron Taylor Johnson and Damson Idris, that sounds like, of all the choices you've thrown out there, that's the combo I like the most. Look, Glenn Powell is just a natural yes, but I like the idea of Aaron Taylor, who I think is not going to be James Bond. I love the idea of Aaron Taylor Johnson and Damson Idris coming together to play those roles. I think that would work.
Yeah, again, it's all about what Miami Vice do they want to do? Do they want to make it different than the show and the movie version, which were very different in terms of casting?
Yeah. But we like this for Kosinski, don't we? I mean, this is another great. If F1 comes out and blows the doors off like everybody thinks it's going to do, then he could pretty much write his budget for Miami Vice, I imagine, Jeff, and cast who he likes and attract people. Yeah.
Like, I mean, Top Gun was an 80s relic. So is Miami Vice.
Yes.
None of the kids today are necessarily familiar with Miami Vice, but things are cyclical. Maybe that style comes back into vogue. Please, I hope so. I have all the white jackets and everything. And pastel shirts too.
Yeah.
What was I going to say though? This is the only like hint I can offer about this. It's an old hint. It's not even a hint anymore, especially with Kosinski on board. But literally, 2022 October, I sent an email to Universal. I'd heard it was going to be Chris Pratt. I think I've already said this on the show.
As Crockett?
As Sonny Crockett. Yes.
Okay.
This was around the Jurassic, when Jurassic World was just wrapping up. So they wanted Chris Pratt. I don't think Chris Pratt is where he was at 3 years ago.
Right.
People like Glenn Powell have come in and maybe overtaken him.
Yeah.
But that is who they were thinking of 3 years ago. So,
I mean, if you do, the other side of this is who are going to play the two female cops who are in Miami Vice, right? I forget who it was who was in Miami Vice. Who are the two?
There's so many possibilities, but it's got, you think it's got to be like a Latina girl. It's got
Ana de Armas and like Zendaya. Like if you got those two to be the secondary co-leads of this, that would be phenomenal.
Zendaya would not, I think that she's obviously better than this. But,
that's true.
With Adria Arjona or Isaac Gonzalez or even Rachel Zegler.
Stop it. Arjona, though, I like the Arjona thing, especially after her most recent episodes of Andor. And just wait till next week, y'all. I like that idea. I mean, you would love to have that be a part of it. But I like this whole combo, man. And certainly Dan's going to write a dark fucking Vice. And that makes me excited. Because I think they tried to go that direction with the Michael Mann movie. But as I said, it was too much posturing. And there was reported a lot of drama behind the scenes with Farrell and Fox. And I wonder if those two now, having, tasted a lot of success, having fallen down a little bit, maybe there's more humility in talking about what happened behind the scenes now that they're older actors. So you hope that the next actors they choose will bring the right amount of flavor and chemistry, because I love that show. I grew up on that show. That was my show. And so when I wanted that Miami Vice to be so good, and, even the director's cut, I've watched every damn scene. So I would like it to be good. And Kosinski is growing in his esteem as a filmmaker. So I'd be excited for it. All right, another filmmaker maybe trying to rehash an 80s staple here, Jeff, is Guy Ritchie, who apparently has been tapped to direct Roadhouse 2, as if there was any doubt in people's mind here when it was being floated around. So apparently Will Beall is writing the script on this, and Jake Gyllenhaal is back. Does this make sense to you to take up the mantle left by Doug Liman here for a straight-to-streaming movie, to step in and do this? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, Guy Ritchie's been pretty hit and miss in my book.
Yes, lately for sure. Yeah,
like real highs and lows. I just don't want this to turn into like Sherlock Holmes. I don't want to see his brand of action with the slow-mo punches and everything like that. That's not what made the Roadhouse reboot successful.
Right.
Now it's all about like the plot of the movie. What if the plot has him? What if it has him leaving that bar?
Yeah.
And going to be a bouncer in London? Then Guy Ritchie makes a lot more sense as a director,
Great point.
If some British guy shows up with like $1 zillion, he's like, I want you in my fucking pub for fucking World Cup night. Like, I don't know. Then Guy Ritchie makes a lot more sense. So it's just about the story.
Please don't ever do that again.
There's nothing wrong with what Doug Liman did. I had a blast with that movie.
Yeah.
Obviously, he just had some tension with Amazon.
Clearly. Don't do that British accent again. But the second part of this is that I think this could be fun for him to do. But I agree with you. He's hit or miss. Although I got to say, I think it's hit or miss in terms of attention. Look, Mobland, which is currently on Paramount Plus, is fantastic. He is the EP on it. And he directed the first two. He directed 2 of the episodes here. I thought Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare was a lot of fun to watch. I thought Covenant was an underappreciated film that came out in 2023. Didn't like Operation Fortune. I thought Wrath of Man was badass as hell. The Gentleman was good. Aladdin was a good, live action. King Arthur sucked. And then you get Sherlock Holmes' Game of Shadows, and that's all the way back to 2011. So you're right to say that he's a bit hit or miss in his projects, mixing in TV with film. So Does this feel, though, when you bring Guy Ritchie into this situation, is this a theatrical release considering how well it did? Or are they still going to keep it streaming to Prime Video? What do you think?
That's a good question. I think they'll probably keep it streaming.
Streaming?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they like how did the accountant just perform for them? Like,
good question.
It performed okay,
right?
But I imagine that they'll take a look at the numbers for something like that. I mean, they're not releasing Heads of State in theaters. That's the Idris Elba, John Cena one.
Yeah, I saw that trailer. Woof.
Guy Ritchie is an interesting element because he does have a certain fan base.
Yes.
In a way that even Doug Liman may not have. But yeah, if I were them, I'd probably keep it on streaming. It all just depends if the budget's going up as it normally does with a sequel, or they're trying to keep costs down for this.
Right. Well, Ministry only made 29 million worldwide. Ministry of Ungentlemanly.
Very good.
That is not good. The budget was...
The movie wasn't very good.
60 million was the movie budget for that movie. So, yeah, that's the concern there. As far as the accountant too has made 43 million worldwide so far.
Guy Ritchie and the guys that he works with, Ivan Atkinson and somebody else, like they are good writers.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at the stuff in The Gentleman or Mobland, like these guys know how to write tough guys pretty well.
Yeah, agreed.
And that may be what Roadhouse needs.
Ministry was a lot of fun. I know you may say it's not a good movie. I enjoyed my time in the theater with Ministry, but I didn't expect much from it. You know what I'm saying? So I just had fun with it for what it was. It's a Saturday afternoon, 3:00 in the afternoon movie you put on while you're chilling out playing on your phone. It's just a lot of fun for that respect. But Roadhouse 2, interesting stuff. I didn't even think of the idea of it moving to possibly London. That could be interesting for sure.
Just kick more ass at the same bar, you know, like
I know it's kind of boring.
I need another setting.
Does he bring the young black girl with him as like his assistant or whatever? I don't know. It's an interesting situation. All right, let's move on to these trailers, Jeff. We had 2 trailers drop this week of note. If you want to add more trailers, we can discuss. We'll do that. But Zach Cregger's Weapons trailer, the first full official trailer dropped. And then we had the Smashing Machine trailer with the Rock, that A24 sports biopic about Mark Kerr. So let's deal with Weapons first. What were your thoughts on that trailer, my man?
A. They both get A's.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
They both look great. I mean, you know, Weapons. I've read. I know what to expect. I really like how they're selling it. It was a very effective teaser that was super fucking creepy. So, I mean, I guess it was a trailer, but they're not giving too much away, and they are keeping some secrets.
Right.
And I dig it. You?
Yeah, I loved it. I did a reaction for it immediately. I don't always like to react to horror trailers because I get like real scared when I watch them. But that one I really wanted to watch because I like Zach Cregger, and we've been talking about it on the show for months and following the process of it. So and I saw the teaser. I thought the teaser was fun, but then I saw this and I was like, holy fuck, especially that last back half of the trailer when you're seeing all the crazy images, like that woman slamming a fork into her face, like that black tar going onto that person's face, Julia Garner situation. And I like that they add Josh Brolin as this angry dad who is desperate for his son to come back. I mean, that's a great energy in the film, along with Julia Garner here. Like, what is her role in all of this? And seeing those kids run with their hands out like this across residential areas to some doorway that is just all in the dark. And some people have posted on my reaction saying that the film doesn't really, it's not really like there's more to be revealed here, as you said, more than just the kids missing. So that makes me very, very curious to see where we're going with this. So yeah.
And yeah, Smashing Machine I thought looked terrific. I think there's buzz circulating that this movie is weird or not what we're necessarily expecting.
Yeah.
And that may be the case. Like, they may have cut the trailer to make it look as right down the middle as possible.
Right.
But that transformation, I think, is startling. He looks amazing. Credit to him and to the prosthetics team. It's tough to say he's completely unrecognizable because he's still a fucking giant. And how many guys could that be besides The Rock? But I think he disappears inside of Mark Kerr. I think, Emily Blunt could be an awards contender alongside him. I
Yeah.
love what he's done with his voice and
Yeah.
how gentle he is in certain scenes in this trailer. And I can't wait to see what Benny Safdie's come up with on his own.
Yeah, I'm curious on. I liked the trailer. My only ding on the trailer is that we didn't have that one scene where it looks like The Rock is going next level as an actor, right? Like we have him crying into a bed sheet, we have him fighting and having the moments of roid rage, punching the door, yelling at Emily Blunt, but they're showing something else while he's yelling at Emily Blunt, and so like for me, I wanted to see that one scene in the trailer where you're like, oh shit. But overall, I think this is a great first trailer for this movie to get you excited to see what you're going to get. Emily Blunt stepping in the same shoes as I tweeted out as like Amy Adams and Rachel McAdams and a host of other women to kind of dirty themselves up a little bit to play the wives or girlfriends of these fighters. So I like the energy. But what gives me pause is people saying that this film is actually a parody of sports movies. And I hope that's not true, because I don't know how you're going to make that work if it is a parody, because this is a very serious trailer they released here.
When people say that, I feel like it's probably like the times where I'm in a movie and I hear people laughing uncomfortably.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't a scene that is meant to be laughed at.
Right.
It's just making you feel weird because, you don't understand movies or whatever. So I'm skeptical of that kind of stuff. I had a point that I was going to bring up about this. Okay. I know what you're saying with, well, where's the big moment?
Right. Yes.
I think that's the trap. I think that if you ask, The Rock is still the fucking Rock.
Yes.
Okay. He's not DiCaprio and he's not De Niro.
Sure.
And if you ask him to do that, if you ask him to go be fucking Jake LaMotta in Raging Bull,
right,
I think you're going to be disappointed. But if you ask The Rock to do the best he can do and not try to be something that he's not,
yeah,
I think that's why I think that moment is missing, because they're not swinging for the fences,
right?
Nor should they necessarily.
Well, this is where I kind of maybe have to disagree with you a little bit, because like the whole reason, or the whole the whole accepted reason that he took this, and he said in interviews he wanted to expand himself as an actor. There is an understanding that if you're going to go do an A24 film biopic that's based on this documentary and this guy's life, who went through a lot of shit, like addiction and what have you, you're going to have to bring a hell of a performance out, just like we're going to see from Sydney Sweeney when that first Christy Martin trailer drops. Like, you want to see him go next level. And I think with The Rock, if you take a role like this, it's because you think you can go next level, and Benny Safdie casts you because he wants to see you go next level, like the wrestler, like Mickey Rourke. Like, you cast him out of the wilderness to play the wrestler because he can do it. So I wanted to see that. But I hear what you're saying. You don't want to get DiCaprio, but you want to get The Rock going that next step. Can he do it? And so I hope we see in the next trailer something that makes us go, damn.
Or
now
maybe it will be a sequel where Dwayne Johnson fights Sydney Sweeney. Now that would be and then you throw in 100 gorillas. Now you got a movie.
Whoa, 100 gorillas versus The Rock. I don't know, man. I mean, 100 rocks versus the gorilla. I think the gorilla would still win. Right.
Sure. Sorry, you're right. It was 100 guys against the gorilla.
Yeah, it wasn't 100 gorillas. That would destroy everyone. Well, are there any other trailers you saw this week? There was a Fear Street trailer. There was a couple other independent movie trailers. Anything else that popped out at you this week?
No, I've been so immersed I've been watching so much shit. My eyes are going to fall out of my head, dude.
TV show wise?
TV, movies, and things. I'm not allowed to talk about it. It's under embargo, but I did see the first 4 episodes of Taron Egerton's new Apple series, Smoke.
Oh, nice. I got the screeners for Duster, so I want to see if that is any good. J.J. Abrams series. Huh?
It's on the list.
Yeah.
You know what else is on the list? I gotta support our girl Jen Sturger.
Yes, the Netflix Untold documentary on Brett Favre. Go ahead, man. That trailer dropped this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to hear Jen's story. Not just like reading it on some sports website as I have over the years, but to hear it straight from her. That's going to be very powerful. So I'm looking forward to that.
I agree with you 100%. I texted her right after I watched the trailer, and I said to her, I think it's amazing that you're finally getting a chance to tell your story on this broad of landscape, and I hope the documentary does justice to you and they expose that sack of shit for what he is. So yeah, agreed.
Right, it accomplishes what she wants it to.
Yeah, yeah. She's taking so much shit for it.
Yeah.
All right, let's hit two or three more topics, and we'll get to the questions. Jeff, you mentioned Michael Jackson, the movie Michael that's coming out. You mentioned in your newsletter that you were the first person to talk about being split up, and now you're hearing in your newsletter. You said you're hearing that the production staff, some of the below the line people, are being told to prepare for this being split into two separate movies. Is that
well, they're getting the crew back together again to shoot this summer now?
Right.
I've heard conflicting things since that report, where it's like, well, they're just coming back to reshoot and do new scenes to make up for all the scenes that they had to cut out.
Okay,
Michael. But again, that doesn't negate the fact that there was a 4-hour cut that was totally legit, and they still could decide to put into two movies. And I continue to hear that that's the plan, but a crew, someone reached out to clarify. It's not like they're going to shoot like an entirely another movie this summer. Right. They're just doing reshoots and then some new scenes to make up for all that lost footage.
Right on. What's your thoughts on the Natasha Lyonne movie here? The AI movie was announced this week that her and Britt Marling were making a film that is Lyonne's directorial debut, Uncanny Valley. It'll see her work with Asteria, an artist-led generative AI film and animation studio. And she said a lot of humans are going to be working on the movie. She wanted to clarify that, but it is going to tackle AI and use AI. So do you think a lot of people made a big deal out of this without really reading the story, or do you think there is legitimate criticisms to be lobbed here at Natasha Lyonne and Britt Marling for using AI in their movie?
Again, I think every movie is using AI, is going to use AI, whether it's disclosed or not, whether it's a tiny bit or a whole thing. I mean, if you're making a movie about AI, which is like half the fucking movies these days, how do you not use AI itself?
Right.
I mean, it's just, I think people probably need to relax and calm down. The only thing that I don't want to see is, and I think I speak for most people, is when we say I don't want AI, it's, I don't want a computer to write a movie. There's plenty of stories that regular people have written, and we can use those. I don't want to see fake actors. There's plenty of actors that we can hire. But if it's like, oh, I need to do this really hard thing, and it's cheap to do it and so quick.
Yeah.
I have a hard time being like, well, you can't use AI. I mean, fuck, like I don't use AI for my newsletter at all. I
know you don't
use ChatGPT or anything, but like there's so much shit that's being written with AI. Even my brothers are like, writing emails with AI. And to me, it's like, you guys can't write a fucking email without the help of AI. They're like, hey, it makes it sound more professional and all that stuff. So a lot of people are using fucking AI out there. Yeah.
The Lady Outlaw is currently taking a class at the community college here to learn how to use ChatGPT and AI for her job and for her new career that she wants to jump into. So yes, a lot of people are using AI. And I'll tell you this, I read an article the other day from someone at a particular website. I don't know who this person is, but I read that article and I'm like, it was box office numbers from a very well-known website. And I was like, this is absolutely written by ChatGPT or by AI. And when I looked this person's handle up on Twitter, they only had 17 followers and a Substack, and all the Substack stuff is written and it sounds like AI. So I wonder if some of these entertainment websites are creating fake profiles for their writers to write some of this stuff in AI in order to keep churning out content. And this is under the Valnet banner, and we know how they allegedly treat writers and pay writers so little in order to write these articles. I would not be surprised if they would use AI and create a fake profile.
I think, there's a lot of places doing that we don't even know about.
Yeah. Some of them just stick out and you're like, no, I've read an AI thing. I know exactly what this is. So yeah, it's pretty insane. So we'll see. All right. Well, speaking of Valnet, do you want to talk about it? They bought Polygon, yet another website they've taken over. There was a substantial number of Polygon staff members who have been laid off or quit including site co-founder and editor-in-chief Chris Plante. Just to be clear, this is a gaming website, Polygon, but there were a lot of good articles breaking down the stuff that's going on in the world of video game entertainment and entertainment in general. So is this just the continuing spread of this empire, Penske and Valnet both vying for control of the entertainment industry?
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many places that want to get into this game, which is kind of a crummy game to begin with, right?
Yeah.
And only so many places that have the money to buy those kinds of sites. And yeah, I think that I just got a text from somebody.
Oh, can you say?
Yeah. Anyways, go on.
Oh, can you say what the text is? Like, were they commenting on a story or anything?
It's Mark.
Oh, what did he say?
I was like, shit, is he listening to this? So yeah, anyways, Valnet.
Okay.
Crazy company.
Yes. Crazy kooky kids over there.
Woo! Some of this, I mean, suing the rap for $65 million. Like, in what world?
Yeah. And the Raps come back and said very clearly that they said that the the lawsuit is just all over the place or something like that in response to people in response to they called the article an inflammatory hit piece, but the Rap through their legal counsel responded saying, quote, the lawsuit is inconsistent, contradictory, and meritless. So there you have on that part of it. And, I tweeted this out and I said this, like, if you're out here talking about Trump's trying to control the media, Trump's trying to take away our independence, and you're working for Valnet and you're not seeing how they're taking over all these websites and controlling the narratives with the studio's help about this stuff, then I'm glad you're getting quoted in the promotional materials, but you're being a hypocrite as well. So just make it clear that you're not standing on strong ground when you're criticizing one section of the country that's trying to take control of media or journalism, and being okay working for one company that is doing the same exact thing in the realm. I
mean, let's not pretend Valnet's the first company to come in and buy another company and then lay off a bunch of people. I mean, that's
right.
How it goes. It's called business.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to get down on them or anything like that. And listen, they have their practices. I think it's cost them a lot of good people. I think that the Rap is fucking staffed by former Collider people now.
Yes.
And then it goes to show you that those people could have run a trade all along.
Yep.
And there's still a lot of good people at Collider. I think that they said, well, the Rap's article is true and it hurt us. And then they said, well, the Rap's article is untrue and it hurt us. Like that's what the Rap's counsel is getting at. Like, well, which is it?
Right.
And who cares if it's a hit piece? If it's true, then you can't sue.
Right. Exactly. It's called journalism, guys. I know you're used to buying it, but that's actually called journalism. So, all right. Anyway, anything else you want to talk about, or shall we jump into these questions, my man?
A quick plug for something, actually.
Oh, go ahead.
1 second. There's a movie coming out this weekend. You might have heard of it. It's called Rosario.
Okay.
Have you heard of this?
I have not. Is it Rosario Dawson's life story? No.
It's a Latino, focused horror movie.
Oh.
I believe David Dastmalchian is in it, not Latino. But it comes out this weekend, and I wanted to plug it against the big bad blockbuster in the room, Thunderbolts. So check it out this weekend if you're a fan of the supernatural horror thriller genre. It's
directed by Felipe Vargas, written by Alan Treza. Starring, as you said, David Dastmalchian, but Jose Zuniga, who I have worked with before in the past, Emerald Tobia, and PBV, Paul Ben Victor, fantastic actor there as a part of it. Rosario spends the night with her grandmother's body while she waits for the ambulance to arrive. During a severe snowfall, Rosario is attacked by otherworldly entities that have taken control of her grandmother's body. Oh, interesting stuff.
If this movie proves to be successful, Rocha, I will get you an audition for the sequel.
Please, I would love it. Mi abuela. ¿Qué pasa con mi abuela?
Look at that. Look at that.
What more do you want? Anyway, what more do you want? Oh, one more thing. Emma Mackey has been confirmed as the White Witch in Narnia. So you had her as one of the two names. What do you say?
Right, baby. Yeah, I think that's the right call. I mean, that's how it's supposed to work, right? Yeah. You do a small role in a blockbuster, and the director keeps you in mind when there's a bigger role in her next movie. That is the system working to me.
Yeah.
And as great as Margaret Qualley was in The Substance, like she's gonna be fine. She's gonna get a ton of offers. I think Emma Mackey is the right call for this.
Yeah. What do you think about this Takashi Miike, perhaps American remake with Charlie XCS? Is this going to happen? This audition remake?
I don't know where this came from. Yeah, it's not true.
Yeah. All right. Just want to make sure.
Like they announced a new movie together and they called it The Moment and said it's set up at A24. The audition movie is at Focus in Hyde Park. I just don't understand how the wires even got crossed. Other than like someone on Letterboxd said it or something.
Oh yeah.
It literally just announced another movie yesterday, which is his next movie. It goes this month.
Yeah.
With Liv Morgan from WWE.
Yeah.
Bad Lieutenant Tokyo, baby.
So ridiculous. They were like, this is a prestige movie in a big role. And it's like, she's the daughter of the politician who gets kidnapped. Get out of here.
Again, I don't think it's
She's not even going to be in the movie. Lily James is the star of the movie.
Some wrestling blog. I don't think they know what a prestige thing is. And working with a Japanese legend like Takashi Miike is, prestigious to some extent. I didn't see Dave Bautista and fucking Dwayne Johnson working with Takashi Miike for their first movies, So credit to Liv Morgan. Not that this is her first movie. I think she's been in one other. But yeah.
Okay.
But good for her.
He hasn't made a good movie since 13 Assassins in 2010, man. So
I'm with you. He's lost his fastball, but this is Bad Lieutenant, and the IP is interesting, and the Tokyo angle is new. I don't know. I
guess we'll see what happens. Lily James is in it though, so they met her quote. They met Lily's quote. Lily's kind of
it's a fucking canned market package, which is what I thought all along when someone said that Liv Morgan was in a movie. I never thought she had like booked a role in Spider-Man 4.
Yeah, that was so ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, listen, it's that time of year, baby. It is the can market. It is my least favorite time of year. And 75% of the movies that you hear about in the next 3 weeks will never happen.
Yeah.
In fact, the stars don't even know that they're in the announcement. They have no idea.
Yikes. All right, let's get to these questions, y'all. We're an hour and 12 minutes into the show. I know it went fast today. We had to drop some topics here. So let's get into your questions. Max Law says, Will A24, sorry, baby, get the Sing Sing treatment this year. Some are concerned the film won't play anywhere near them with a quiet summer release. Jeff, does that sound right to you?
It won't even get the Sing Sing treatment.
Wow.
I'm sure this movie is very good. I've heard very good things about it, but it doesn't have a Coleman Domingo front and center. It'll really need like amazing reviews and like some sort of. I have a tough time seeing that break out, but stranger things have happened.
I think the trailer got released this week.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I didn't see like everyone was like,
yeah,
it's a masterpiece. I'm like, we are using this word too often.
Yeah, well, in that case, yes. Eva Victor and Naomi Aki are in this movie, along with one of the best names I ever heard, an actress named E.R. Fightmaster. I like that name, E.R. Fightmaster. Sammy P says, Jeff, spoilers, warts and all. What were your problems with Sinners? With respect, don't hide behind a paywall, mate. I agree with John, masterpiece. Wait, Jeff and I talked about the film for 31 fucking minutes. If you can't watch that video and find out what Jeff's issues were with the movies, and the problem is you, not Jeff. He's not hiding shit behind a paywall.
He paid his £5. He wants to hear the Sinners rant again. No, again, for me, it was just a mishmash of genres that did not coalesce, did not completely work. I know when a movie is working, and I think this movie. I'm not trying to take away what it means to the Black audience. Like clearly, this has been a cultural touchstone for them. But let's be honest, like it's being treated as more than a movie. Right. People are just judging it on like the terms of a normal movie. It's not performing like a normal movie in theaters. Right. That's why people are like freaking out because it's not behaving like the trajectory is crazy. And kudos to Ryan Coogler. But just because a movie makes a ton of money doesn't mean that I'm wrong or that the clear seams that I'm seeing here like don't exist. It's totally fine for art to be messy, but let's acknowledge that it's messy and not pretend that it's perfect because it definitely wasn't.
Fair point. And guys, you guys calling him racist, you couldn't be more off base. If you think I'd work with a racist, you're out of your fucking minds. Mike Adams says, hello from Birmingham in the UK. After I watched Oppenheimer last year, I rewatched War Games, right? The Matthew Broderick film, which I think is a good companion film. Any films you think go well together that are unconnected by franchises? Love the show. Ooh. Quest for Fire and Alpha. Those are two films that would actually like be good companion pieces if you were to go back to the old days of the 1980s.
I mean, in the early 90s, I think it was the Showbiz satires, The Player and Swimming with Sharks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a great one, too. You could throw in, what's the one with that Aaron Eckhart hit? In the Company of Men. I would throw all three of those in as kind of a commentary on what that world is like. That Shadow says, any info on this Watch Dogs movie? It's a video game adaptation with Tom Blythe and Sophie Wilde attached to star in it, and it wrapped filming last year.
No.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything either.
Ubisoft, right?
BBY, yeah, I think so. BBBYLW. Info on Flanagan's Exorcist still due March 2026?
No, that's not happening.
All right. We addressed this one already, Evan, but we'll read it. Any Truth to Charlie XCX starring in an Audition remake with Mackay directing. A lot of Mackay news this week.
No.
Yeah. How much of it are we actually going to see? That's the question, Evan. Gallia Productions. Now that's Sinful Jeffrey wearing the Sinner's shirt. I guess DC wasn't equipped to make this movie. Sounded rock solid. Wow. All right.
Guys, it's getting cold. It's not ideal conditions for the cast, the crew, the equipment. That poor cold camera.
I saw someone comment, that all makes sense to me. You think they wouldn't have planned it out ahead of time to know what the weather was going to be like? Come on. As
I joked in my story, Colin Farrell starred in a movie called Winter's Tale. He can handle
it. Alan Smithy says, since Chef is wearing a Sonny Crockett suit, what do you guys think of the Joseph Kosinski Miami Vice film? We talked about it. Man's version had the actors doing scenes in jet boats, actual jets, and fast cars. What else can Kosinski add?
Excitement. Yeah. Dude, fucking that Miami Vice movie from Michael Mann is not his finest hour. I know it has its standards and some people think it's a masterpiece. It is not one that I like to revisit.
I don't disagree, man. As much as I try to make myself love that film, I know its flaws. Its flaws is that it has a boring story to it. It really is a boring story, but there is great performance. Like John Hawkes is great in that movie. There's just good acting, and I also think the lead actress didn't quite have chemistry with Colin Farrell, so it didn't 100% work. Marcus Cisneros says, is Gore Verbinski in director's jail? Pirates films were classic and profitable. He has a great relationship with ILM. He'd be great for a Star Wars project. Saludos, compas. What do you think there, Jeff?
No, he's not in director's jail. He has a cool sounding movie that's coming out. I think it's with Sam Rockwell. I think that will probably be at TIFF.
Oh, yeah. Coming up soon. Oh, yeah. What's it? Good luck, have fun, don't die. That's the name of the movie. Yeah.
I love some of these comments. I'm just,
Brandon says, recent comments about any version of a Back to the Future being created is an absolute no. What if Michael J. gave his blessing and wanting to see a reboot? Could that ultimately be the arm twist that's needed? I don't think Michael J. Fox saying yes or no about a Back to the Future remake has any.
It all comes down to what Michael J. Fox wants.
Yeah. Guys, come on, man. It is a business, okay? The guys in charge over there don't give two shits what Michael J. Fox thinks about them doing a remake. If their polling shows that people want a remake and they'll make money off it, they'll do it. Michael J. Fox be damned. That's the difference there in that situation. Max Sloth, any update on Damien Chazelle's prison film or the Evel Knievel project? Do you think it legit starts filming soon?
The prison film, I don't think that's happening. Evel Knievel still been pretty quiet.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that. I mean, the Hawaii Martin Scorsese film with DiCaprio seems like that's got more momentum than the Evel Knievel project. Ralph hated Once Upon a Time in Hollywood when I first saw it, but man, the more I watched it, the more I loved it. It's aged into the top 3 Tarantino films for me. What is a movie you all hated but came around to loving? Casino is my answer always. I fucking hated Casino when I saw it in the theaters because I'm not the biggest Sharon Stone fan. But watching it later subsequently on streaming and on a Blu-ray, and I just bought the 4K the other day because there's a 3 for $33 4K special on Amazon. I bought it as one of those ones for me. So that's my answer to that. What about you, Jeff? And I don't agree with top 3 for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That ending does not work, which kills most of the movie, man.
That's insane to think that that's a top 3 Tarantino movie, Ralph. Sorry. All right. The movie that I didn't like at first, but now I think is really good. I'll use this phrase. The password is nipple. You know a movie?
I don't. What are you saying? Which one is it?
The password is nipple.
Huh.
I think that was the one. The Cable Guy.
Oh yes, the password. I know a speech therapist. Why? Cowboys fan 92.
Ron, show me the birthmark on her left shoulder. Very sexy.
When he puts his breast on that.
Oh, Billy.
I think that is one of Ben Stiller's best movies, and I think you can make a straight line from Cable Guy to Severance. I think you can make a straight line. You can make a case. Cowboys fan 92 says, breaking. Jeremy Renner said no to Hawkeye season 2 because it only happened to Sally. Yeah, we talked about that already. Thank you, Cowboys fan. Appreciate that. Max Law says another film dumped into late August with Neon Splitsville, the same day Shelby Oaks was dated for previously.
I just love the direct quote of that last one. Direct quote. As if these guys, like, they have a camera in their face. Like, anytime there's a camera in your face, you got to tell the truth. Yeah. Another film done to late August is Splitsville. Yeah, I heard. I'm looking forward to that. Like, no one knows who these guys are.
Yeah, right.
I love those guys, Kyle Marvin and Michelangelo Covino. I'm a big fan. But yeah, that seems like an August dump.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not going to get awards. Like, what are you supposed to do with this? You got to space it out from Materialist too,
right?
Shelby Oaks. Did they move Shelby Oaks off that date?
Looks like maybe they did. I don't know.
I mean, I'll be very curious to see how that movie does.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the next one here. Where was I? Evan says, any word on Jonah Hill's outcome? Any yay or nay on Ella McKay? I love James L. Brooks's broadcast news. So do I. I think it's one of the greatest films of the 80s.
Ella McKay just didn't look good to me. It looked like a movie that doesn't even belong in theaters. It looked like something that should be on like a Hulu original movie. Mm-hmm. But it is James L. Brooks, and he could always surprise us. I think it's probably a tough movie to judge based on a trailer. Yeah. And I don't know what the outcome is. I have not heard much about it.
Rebecca Hall is the lead in that one, the James L. Brooks one, right? So I think she's on the most recent episode of The Studio. Did you guys get to that episode yet? The Rebecca Hall episode? That was my favorite episode of the back half of the season. I loved that episode. Robert Giaquinta says, do you think they could race swap Tubbs or Crockett? I was thinking maybe Cuban since it takes place in Miami. Well, we talked about that. Anything more you want to add to that, Jeff? The idea of a Cuban?
I mean, who are the Cuban stars? It's just like, is Oscar Cuban or no? He's Guatemalan.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if there aren't like Cuban stars, I don't really know why they would race one.
I don't know that there are many currently in the mix. You're not going to put Andy Garcia in there. Maybe Raul Esparza, but people don't know him, and he's a little old to play either one of those guys.
No, you need movie stars. This movie.
You need movie stars. I agree with you. Where's Desi Arnaz when
you are a little Pedro'd out, but Anthony Ramos, that's a possibility.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of on the high right now with being in Last of Us and off of Top Gun Maverick. So.
Universal's paying for the movie at the end of the day, so like they're going to have a say in it. He starred in their Twisters movie,
right?
If you look at what else Universal is doing, what are their two big things? Chris Pratt is Mario, by the way, still.
Right.
But they've got Wicked and Jurassic World, and you know who's in both of those movies? Jonathan Bailey.
Ooh.
Rocket?
Maybe. I'm not really sold on Bailey, man.
Me neither. I think like that test is Jurassic World.
Yeah. I'm sure he's great on Broadway. I did not like him in Wicked, and I haven't seen anything in the trailers that make me interested in Jonathan Bailey. Tim Sim says, having just watched Sinners, I have 2 words to say. Holy F! Also, it makes me realize the one thing I hate about my hometown of Houston, removing their 70mm IMAX theater and have 3 Limax theaters instead in its place. Well, that's a business decision. If they can replace one theater with 3, and convince people to go see it in IMAX. So,
Tim, would IMAX have really changed what you thought of the movie, though? Like, if only I could have seen this movie on a screen that was 6 feet bigger than the IMAX screen that I saw it on. Like, I don't really care about that kind of stuff.
I know you don't. You're not a big fan of that kind of stuff. But are you surprised it's coming back to IMAX so quickly for 1 week only?
No, because it's doing incredibly well. Like, you saw the screenshots of like, well, they're taking it out of IMAX theaters for Thunderbolts because if they don't, like, Disney's going to screw them going forward. Right. It's like, you're right. Like, the theater should be able to pivot, but I'm sure tickets are already sold for IMAX screenings of
Thunderbolts. Yeah. But you're right. I mean,
I was surprised that, I mean, Warner Brothers, you have to think, is doing this at the expense of Final Destination, right?
Yeah.
It's probably controls those screens for Final Destination.
Right.
And they're like, well, we're actually going to make more money if we just keep Sinners in those theaters. It's just going to sell out in a way that Final Destination we don't anticipate doing.
Yeah, our tracking for Final Destination isn't as strong in the IMAX section as Sinners is. Yeah, that's a great point. Even though the first reactions to Final Destination Bloodlines have been pretty positive, Jeff, overall. So we'll see when more critics get a chance to see it. Ewok says, Emilio Estevez says the young... Emilio Estevez says...
Anytime we start an item with Emilio Estevez
says that Young Guns 3 will follow a new group of regulators with a largely Latino and indigenous cast and was looking at Anthony Ramos and DeFaro Wunatai for the leads. I'm sold.
I'd be into that.
Look, I like the intention, and I applaud Emilio Estevez, who is Latino. Martin Sheen was half Latino. Charlie Sheen is half Latino, or is Latino as well, and people seem to forget that. But, I mean, what track record do we have with Emilio Estevez as a director? And I mean, what are you going to do? Is he going to come back as Billy the Kid again? Let me tell you the story.
Emilio Estevez is not a bad director.
What?
He's not a bad director.
No?
I liked Bobby. I liked the Library.
Okay. I thought those were middling efforts at best, especially Bobby.
Okay, well, it's Young Guns 3. I mean, you don't need fucking Joseph Kosinski out there. Like, I think Estevez could probably get the job done.
I guess. People like the way.
Sorry, go ahead.
People liked the way, the one he did with his dad. I think I know people like that. So
yeah. I think Emilio's better than he gets credit for. Are you going to see the new Alec Baldwin movie?
Man, I'm on the fence on that because of what happened. And I do think he's guilty, regardless of what they say. I think he was careless as an actor, didn't check his weapon, was fucking around and killed someone.
As an actor, as a producer, as an actor, you should know that's not on him to check his weapon.
I always check my weapon on anything. And I was on Wind Talkers for 6 months, and I checked my rifle every time because I just didn't trust people. I don't trust people. That's just naturally who I am. So
okay, but you are supposed to as an actor. I don't think you want that the actors checking the guns and stuff once they hand them to them.
You want to live? I don't know. You don't want to. Not everyone can afford court fees.
Where like they want the actors opening up cartridges and stuff. Right. No. So as you can blame him as a producer if you want.
Sure.
But I don't think that should stop you from seeing a movie. Because this is Helena Hutchinson's last work, right? And she wants people to see it. Fair point. It'd be a shame if she died for nothing. However,
yes,
I've had to screen her all week, and it's fucking 2 hours and 20 minutes.
And it's not good.
Me for watching it, and it has nothing to do with Alec Baldwin killing somebody.
2 hour and 20-minute Western that probably should be streaming. Yeah, I'm not.
It wasn't starring Alec Baldwin. That's an indie movie. It's like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. That's a movie that shouldn't be more than about an hour and 46 minutes. Anything over that, and you're pushing it.
Tops. Yeah, agreed. Fantastic314 says, Sup, Hot Mike. I need to ask Jeff this question. I enjoy the info he brings, but I'm not a newsletter guy. So I show my support weekly with these tips. Would you prefer I subscribe and probably never read it, or this way? Well, I don't get anything off Jeff's newsletter, so I'd prefer it if you did it this way, because at least we split this.
I'd prefer you subscribe to the newsletter. Guys, I'll do the discount thing again.
There you go.
This week's password. If you DM me and you aren't already a subscriber, if you are a new subscriber,
Here you go.
You get 40% off with the password Diet Coke.
The password is Diet Coke.
The password should be nipple. I just don't want a bunch of dudes texting me nipple. So, because if you believe it, guys read the newsletter.
That's true. Guys do.
I don't know if the female audience is really there for it. So yeah, guys, Diet Coke, DM me. I'll give you 40% off the annual subscription.
And of course, please keep sending your stuff in here. Samo says, "What is both y'all's favorite Tarantino movie?" Ooh, I mean, for me, it's Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair. Like for me, that's I don't buy the film in two separate. Like I don't consider the film two separate movies. To me, that's one whole film. He was made to separate into two movies by Weinstein. So I say Kill Bill. That's my favorite of his. Steve, Jeff.
I used to say Pulp Fiction, and I used to say that Pulp Fiction was my favorite movie. But as I've gotten older, I keep going back to Jackie.
Jackie Brown. Yeah.
I think there's something in that movie, a romance that you just rarely see in Tarantino movies. And I think that he shows a softer side, and I think it's quite touching.
That's a great point. Also, you're a writer, and that's a writer's movie, man. That is a writer's movie. Alan Smithy says, "Have you guys seen The Surfer with Cage?" Jeff has. I just got the screener link yesterday, so I'm definitely going to watch it over the weekend. Jeff, I think we talked about it, but you want to enlighten Smithy on this?
Yeah, it was not what I was expecting. It was okay, but it was a tough sit. It's kind of almost like torture porn, but not in the way you're thinking. Like when I say it, it's not like a Hostel movie. It's just you're watching a guy. He's like a bug underneath a magnifying glass in the hot sun.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's rough. Okay.
And Cruz eventually, or Cage eventually goes full Cage.
I love it. Armada says, Uwe Boll versus 100 Jeff Sneider. So I think Jeff wins that one finally.
I think 6 Jeff Sniders could probably get it done. I don't know about 5 though.
6 is the magic number there.
I could still see him having like now acquired old man strength.
Oh yeah, that old man European strength.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That like swarthy strength.
Logs and shit.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on to the Streamlabs here. We got a few of these, Jeff, as well. Okay, do we think this is Chris? Do we think Universal can afford Glenn Powell and Michael B. Jordan for Miami Vice? Seems like a no-brainer and a safe box office bet. Jeff?
I mean, it's all about. I mean, yes, I think they can afford them.
Right, they could afford them, but
I don't know what the overall budget of this movie is. Like, if you have those two guys, do you need the 4th or 5th big action scene, or can you rely more on their charisma?
Yeah.
And that's how you pare the budget down. It's like, okay, well, we're going to cut a big action scene because we have 2 hugely charismatic guys. Put them in a room and see what actors can do together.
Yeah. And do you trust both of these guys who are burgeoning, moguls themselves with their own production companies, executive producing their own content? You expect them to be able to work together and figure it out under the direction.
Thing. The stars would really have to align. And as busy as you guys think Glenn Powell is, I mean, it seems like Michael's even busier.
Yeah.
Because he's directing Thomas Crown for next, not even next March. I think it's March 2027. Or is it next March 2027? I forget. Yeah. He's got Black Panther 3. He'll probably be in Coogler's next movie.
Probably.
Creed 4, which he'll probably end up directing.
Yeah.
So I don't think he'd even be able to make the fucking movie until 2028.
Yeah, good point. Chris says, any chance they move The Running Man back to November 21st so it doesn't lose IMAX screens to Predator?
I mean, I have no idea, and I don't know how important all that stuff is. I mean, I know that premium large format screens are important to box office hall, but is it like we're going to change a date now to make sure that we get those screens? Like,
yeah, good point.
Is it really that much more money coming in through IMAX? Where I mean, if I want to see a movie and it's not available in IMAX, I'm going to go see the movie just on a regular screen.
Yeah.
It wouldn't change the equation for me, but it might for these studios.
I think with Sinners was shot specifically to take advantage of the IMAX presentation of technology, specifically shot that way, like VistaVision for The Brutalist. You'd want to see that on as big a screen as possible. I don't imagine Running Man is going to be shot that way or feel that way. Predator possibly, but I can't imagine. Obviously, Predator is trumpeting the IMAX.
Sick, dude. Yeah. Running Man looks like a blast.
Doug Developer says, I enjoyed Thunderbolts. I'm so glad they didn't originally go with Stephen Yeun as Sentry, not because of race or because he wouldn't do a fantastic job, but because him playing the stereotypical emasculated Asian male would be a tough watch. Yeah, I reviewed Thunderbolts. Did you get a chance to see it, Jeff, or no?
See, I am seeing it in an hour and 24 minutes.
Oh, there we go. All right. Well, my review is up. My non-spoiler review is up. I just basically tell you that I really enjoyed it. It's not like top tier Marvel, but it's certainly a good movie. And I had a good time watching it. Think of like the first Ant-Man. That's kind of the energy I got from it. And I really enjoyed Florence Pugh and Lewis Pullman, who did a really good job as Sentry. And I don't think he was emasculated at all in the movie. It's more about his mental health issues and what he's navigating in the film. So I highly recommend people go see it. I'll be curious to see what you think, Jeff.
I know it's really, forget all this cape stuff. It's really a treatise on mental illness and mental health.
It is.
I can't wait to find out for myself.
Okay. Well, that's because that's the way the character is in the comics. So anyway, Mike Green 74 says, I believe that since there aren't that many great movies to choose from, when a very good one comes along, we hyperbolize ad infinitum. I am not an old man. The 90s and early 2000s were the peak. We are oversaturated by Marvel. I'm tired of it. Rocha, Jeff?
I think this person's right. I think that was partially to explain the overboard reaction for Sinners. I think it's been months and months and months since there's been anything resembling a good movie to most people. And that's why everybody's doing backflips for Sinners. But just because it's a celebration of Black culture doesn't mean, it's not that I can't appreciate it. But it doesn't mean that I can't have problems with the movie.
Right. Of course, I disagree with Jeff. I think it is a masterpiece, and I think it remains a masterpiece, having seen it twice now and going again. So for me, I actually don't think it's
a third time. Twice wasn't enough. You have to see it a third time.
I might see it 5 times before it leaves the theater. I'm not even lying. I'm not even lying.
Okay.
Yeah, it's for me. It works for me. You can't get in.
I love movies too, but I don't go see them like 4 times in a movie theater.
Ones that speak to me, I do. That's why I have a podcast called The Cinephiles, because I like to rewatch movies that I love and enjoy that have a classic feel to them or have something more to say, because I enjoy catching new things when I watch it. But that's obviously me. That's me. I don't know if it's necessarily about hyperbolization. I don't know if I can go along with that. I think we are more often right than wrong when we call films when it's across the board. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean like an occasional critic or a few critics. I mean across the board. Like, I think The Brutalist is a masterpiece. As messy as the second half might be, I still think it's a fucking masterpiece. And so it's about appreciating the art. And I'm different than Jeff on this, because I think we're living in a great time right now where so many amazing artists are getting a chance to put their best work up on the screen. And I think there's a dying taste for those kinds of movies. I think it's a matter of fact that we get less movies that fall into the masterpiece category that makes the ones that do cross that line, like 1917, arguably Parasite. You can say these are masterpieces because we don't get that many of them anymore like we used to. That's what I think. But, I know I'm in a different place than Jeff is on this. Crod says, hi, Jeff. What do you think the next DCU project to greenlit will be? Teen Titans, Booster Gold, Paradise Lost, any development you can report? Thanks.
I don't see any of those things happening. I don't think anything is going to happen until after Superman.
That's what I was thinking too. You can say whatever you want, but until Superman comes out, we won't know. Korbinski 101 says, Jeff, you teased a Lanterns casting on the show a few weeks back. Was Paul Ben Victor the actor you were teasing? Additionally, could he be playing the villain Atrocitus?
I have no idea. Did I tease? I don't think I teased a casting. I think it was Ritter. Jason Ritter was the one. And I heard about Chris Coy ahead of time too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Samo says, what were y'all's thoughts on the movie Havoc on Netflix? I thought it was garbage. It was such a tough watch. Jeff, did you like it?
It's not good. It
Mhm.
had a couple of like good action sequences.
Yes.
As good because it's Gareth Evans, but just a real lazily written movie. Super generic.
When you're watching Mobland right now, which is so well written, so well directed, knows exactly how to take advantage of Tom Hardy as the lead of the series, and then you watch Havoc and you're like, what is this Lionsgate kind of junk? And it's so frustrating when you see that. But you know, Tom's got to work, Tom's got to eat.
Night and day.
The days of him being
in Mobland.
Yeah.
And I mean, just the way he talks, like you can
Yeah.
fucking hear him. You can make sense of what he's saying. He just mumbles his way through Havoc.
Yeah.
It's too bad. Gareth Evans, I think we're going to hear more about his next movie in the next couple of weeks. I'm curious to see what it is because this was not good.
Yeah, Forrest doing, Forrest knows when it's a straight to DVD movie, and he delivers that performance.
Plays down to the competition.
What's that?
He plays down to the competition.
Yes, I think Forrest does. Yeah.
Did you listen to that Big Picture podcast about the 4 action movies and everything?
No, I haven't. What's that one?
It was good. It was a good topic for a podcast. They talked about Havoc, A Working Man, The Accountant 2, and The Amateur.
Ooh.
And even though, to me, A Working Man has the lowest ambitions of any of these, it was the most successful one because it maybe set the target low and it hit the target that I thought it was going for. Whereas The Accountant 2 did not hit the target for me, and neither did The Amateur. Right.
I like The Amateur. Havoc was no good. And you're right. A Working Man was fine. It was about 10, 15 minutes too long, but it was still fine. And you're right. There's just something about Jason Statham, though, that people just enjoy. You know what I'm saying? And so it accomplished that. And David Ayer has realized how to use him in the best way possible with this and The Beekeeper. So I hope they continue to work together. Fredtastic 314 says Bobcat Goldthwait is also a surprisingly good director. Surprised the hell out of me. Yeah.
I really like that Robin Williams movie that he did. And the movie with the 2 people, God Bless America, I think it was. So yeah, I'd like to see another movie from him.
Didn't he also do Shakes the Clown? Wasn't that his first one? Or was that someone else?
Yeah, possibly. That possibly was him.
I thought he did that one. Yeah, World's Greatest Dad is the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Dark.
Yeah. Shakes the Clown. Yeah, that was his directorial debut back in 91. I was watching about 30 minutes of that the other day on Pluto. Yeah, good director, no doubt. Directed some Community episodes as well. All right, I think that's... Wait, we got a couple more here. Nerdy Mastermind says, Damien Leone was on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast the other day, and he said he was in LA because he has 3 potential directing jobs on the table before he does Terrifier 4. Jeff, can you find out?
I can try and reach out. I don't know if he has traditional representation or not. I mean, I know that the company behind Terrifier 3 has another movie in mind. I don't know if they could get him to do it. Not Terrifier 4, but like something else, a reboot of a reboot.
Right.
That's it may make sense if they made a play for him, but no, I don't know. I can look into it though. Nerdy, thanks for the tip.
Okay. And NLSFC 96 says, what movie should be re-released now after Revenge of the Sith? Would you want to see Terminator 2 on the big screen again?
I saw it a few years ago, actually.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, it was awesome. It was fucking amazing. That movie's amazing.
I agree. Except
like that's what I'm talking. Like when we're talking about masterpiece, the word masterpiece.
But see, this is where you
and Sinners. What are you shitting me? There's a huge gulf here.
But this is where you and I differ. I don't think Terminator 2 is a masterpiece because Edward Furlong is irritating as fuck in that movie. And so I don't like to watch the movie that often because he's irritating as fuck. So to me, it's not a masterpiece.
That's nuts. What to tell you? That's nuts. These are nutty opinions that you have, but you know what? You are entitled to them.
Thank you. It's true. He's so irritating. Don't do that. We don't do that. What are you doing? It's so fucking irritating, man.
Only we could have had Preacher Boy.
Hey, Miles Catton, I think, is a way better actor than Edward Furlong, and I think the time will prove that out. One last thing, Jeff.
I'll grant you that.
One last thing, Jeff. What are your thoughts on Bill Belichick, my man? What's going on? You got to go save him. Get him out of this.
We don't talk about that. When I started this podcast with you, John, that was one of the things that we said was going to be off limits. So the fact that you're asking me, I'll walk off right now.
Okay. All right. Calm down. Calm down.
I mean, geez, talk about fucking pussy whip. Jesus.
Cuckold
$8 million in real estate as now that she's COO of Belichick Productions.
Nonsense, man.
Totally.
It was rough to watch.
This poor guy. Did he not? What happened to his like a wife? I mean,
he'd been with her he was with someone for a long, long time, all through the Patriots time. Yeah. So,
yeah. I didn't know if she had passed. I mean, that would be something different. But like, if he left his wife for,
he did.
24
years old, and now he came out with a statement trying to claim that CBS doctored the footage or that they made her look bad. It's like, get out of here, man. A gold digger.
Hats off to him. This guy has a zillion Super Bowl things. He's the greatest football coach ever. If my dad started dating a 24-year-old, I'd say, fucking good for you, Big Daddy. You earned it.
Yeah, you and I are different. I'd shoot my dad. But he's gone now. Jordan Ross Weinhold says, Wicked for good. Do better. First made over 700 million. Yeah. Do you think it'll make over 700, Jeff?
I mean, I don't know. I think so. I think so.
Yeah. Dave T. Furlongs, he was supposed to be annoying. Yes, it went over my head. No, there's a way to be annoying and interesting, and like Bella Ramsey is in Last of Us this season, and there's a way to be annoying and take me out of the movie, which is what Furlong was doing. But that film went over
Furlong had danced an Irish jig. It would have been a better movie.
I'd have put Jack O'Connell in there.
The Blues. Then it'd be a masterpiece.
Terminator 2 went over my head. All right, I think that's everything. Let's get out of here. Thank you all so much for joining us on this episode of The Hot Mic. Please remember that you can always subscribe to us on the podcast feed. We have a separate podcast feed in case you don't want to see our pretty faces. You can just listen to us, or if you missed anything, you listen to us. And we'd love for you all to subscribe. Thousands of you watch every week. Subscribing to the podcast would be super important. Subscribe to the channel as well. Hit the bell button. Leave your comments on everything we talked about. Jeff, another fun show. Please let people know where they can find you on social media and subscribe to your newsletter.
TheInsnider.com. Across all platforms on Beehive. I mean, guys, tell your friends. Buy a friend a gift subscription if you want. If you do need a discount, let me know with Diet Coke password. And we talked about Emilio, Rosario. What an episode.
What an episode. Yeah, there you go. All right, thanks everybody. Take care of yourselves. Be well. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode here of The Hot Mic. Peace until then.